Team, it is time for your staff video update. Thanks for tuning in this week. One of the exciting things that I'm looking forward to this weekend, not only are we continuing our I Said This, You Heard That series, we had over 4,500 people take the assessment, by the way, which is awesome. But this weekend, Lauren is taking all of the interns to Willow Creek, the church that Cedar Creek was really inspired by God from 30 years ago. So it'll be fun for me to go back. I used to know that building inside and out from all of the trips that we used to take back in the days. Those of you that have been around like 10 years or more, you remember those. But she is taking the interns there. We're going to be there for the weekend service. And then next week, I have a few days of what's called base camp with Pastor Craig Groeschel and David Ashcraft as they begin to talk about the summit, the Global Leadership Summit this fall. And so I'll be bringing back some of the things that I learn out there. I'll be excited to pass that along to you. But it just prompted me to think about like the subject of leadership. What's interesting about the season that we are in right now is this is really leadership development season for us. If you think about the fall through Preach Off, the fall through Christmas is like an evangelism, like how are we reaching people? Like how are we helping people come to church? And we saw an influx of people coming to church, which then in this season, now through Mother's Day, is like how do we get them connected to our church in groups and creating weak ties and getting to know their temperaments and learning their names. That's the season that we're in right now. And then over the summer, we want to help people take steps of commitment. The people who are engaging at the weekend service and through the summer usually want to be here. And so if we can get new people to come and people who are coming a little bit more connected and then people who are connected a little bit more committed, then next year our dream team and our potential dream team is bigger to be able to serve the new guests that we get to come, and will help us connect the new guests who are coming to help them be more connected, which will then in turn help them become more committed. And if you wrap all of that in the context of our mission of introducing people to Jesus and the life-changing adventure with him, then we are introducing people to the gospel, the good news of Jesus, allowing Jesus to change their heart, giving them vision that they are not an accident, that God put them on earth on purpose. And so, yes, where do they need to find freedom? Where can they begin to live authentically? Where do they need to discover their purpose? And how can they plug in to make a difference? We are helping people move forward in the spiritual journey. And so if you're wondering, like, what is leadership? That is leadership. It's influence. It's helping people move in their journey, their life journey. And what we get to be a part of is not just organizational leadership. We get to be a part of spiritual leadership, which is influencing people on the spiritual journey to make a difference by influencing people on the spiritual journey. Okay? We're influencing others, helping others move, so that in turn, they will go and help others. We are, I'll put it in Matthew 28 speak, we are making disciples who go and make disciples. So, Paul, in his instructional letter to Timothy, wrote these words. He says, "You have heard me teach these many things that have been confirmed by many witnesses." This is 2 Timothy 2:2 if you want to follow along. So you've heard me teach these things that have been confirmed by many witnesses. Now, teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. And so within this simple passage is a leadership framework that I think is really helpful because many of us want to make a difference. Many of us are, well, maybe not all of us, but I think we're looking for opportunities to grow and you could say advance in your career or, you know, whatever is next for you in your journey. And where does that start? Well, it starts with number one, what have you been taught? Self-leadership is the start of all leadership. So if you want more opportunity, what have you been taught and how are you living that out? Like, where do you need to grow? Are you being faithful with what has been asked of you in your current role? Over the 20-some years that I've been on staff at Cedar Creek, there were a lot of people who wanted my position, like when I was the student ministry director. They were, student volunteers. They wanted to be on staff, but they weren't faithful with the simple things I was asking them to do. And I would say that that's true for all of us. Like if you want to move up, if you want more opportunity, it starts with being faithful with the little things and then putting your hand in the air for opportunities to grow where there may be a leadership gap. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect and well-rounded in every area of your life, but being a leader is being responsible for the leaders within your span of care. And so if you want to get better at leadership, be faithful with the responsibilities that you have. And when you're faithful with that, put your hand up in the air to add to that some other responsibilities. That'll help you grow. So what have you been taught? Because the way he starts the passage to Timothy is, hey, you've already been taught these many things. Like you've already been proven faithful. So the second thing then is now go teach them. These trustworthy people. Teach these truths to trustworthy people. So the second question is, who are you passing on what you've learned? Like, who are you developing? That's the next phase of leadership. So leadership doesn't just mean you're a good student. It also means you are replacing yourself. You have people around you that could step into that role. One of my jobs is to raise up capable leaders around me that will lead the church if anything ever happened to me. That doesn't mean they would have potentially my exact role, but it means that they feel equipped and they have the influence necessary to lead our church. Are you passing on those same principles to people around you? Because that's what leaders do. So you pass on these truths to trustworthy people. You are influencing others intentionally. Not just like, hey, I think you're a leader, but you're helping them develop the skills and the experiences and the influence to help them win. So number one, what have you been taught and are you being faithful with that? Two, what are you passing on? Who are you passing it on to? And number three, this is the one that may be easy to miss, is who are the leaders? Because he doesn't just say, pass this on to trustworthy people. He adds a sentence. And if you want, take a look at that sentence. He says, pass these truths or teach these truths to trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. See, the truth is not everybody has the gift of leadership or has the influence to pass them on to others. And so we need to be able to identify who the leaders in the room are so that we're specifically developing leaders, not that they're better than other people, but they're gifted differently. They are gifted in a way where more people will follow. The same way that musicians are gifted vocally. It doesn't mean they're better than other people, although sometimes I feel like Nate Manuel is a better human being overall than I am in the way that he lives and sings and all of that stuff. But the truth is he's just gifted. He's really gifted. And God uses him to help influence our church in that segment of the service. Well, we need to find leaders who we are equipping and investing in, probably at a disproportionate level than everybody else, because they have the capacity to help us influence everybody else. And so that's just a fresh way to think about, maybe not fresh, a fresh reminder of what leadership is all about. And I think as we step into this next few months, we need to think about, yes, connecting with people, but as staff members and as dream team leaders, we need to be looking for the leaders and be intentionally passing on truths to them because God will ultimately use them to help us reach more people in the future. And so that hopefully is something for you to think about. What have you been taught? Who are you passing it on to? And are they influential? Are they able to pass it on to others? In fact, there's a Creek Help Academy coming up on the leadership pipeline. That may be a helpful next step for you and or others, for you to be equipped to help others or for you to join with others to grow your own leadership awareness. I hope if you're able to make it that you'll be there. But love you guys. And that's my simple investment for today. See ya.